Buenos días y bienvenidos. Me llamo Richard Toscano y yo soy el director de la Oficina de Igualdad de Oportunidades de Empleo. Es un placer estar con ustedes para celebrar el mes de la herencia hispana. Good morning and welcome. My name is Richard Toscano and I'm the director of the Justice Management Division Equal Employment Opportunity staff. It gives me great pleasure to join our distinguished speakers, departmental senior leaders, and all of you for the Department of Justice 2014 Hispanic Heritage Month Observance Program. To begin, I ask that you please rise for the presentation of the colors by the Woodrow Wilson High School Junior ROTC and for the singing of the national anthem by the Springbrook High School Choir. You may be seated. Please join me in a big round of applause for the Woodrow Wilson High School Junior ROTC and the Springbrook High School Choir. We are so pleased that these talented students could join us for today's program. Their participation in this event represents the department's commitment to engage local communities in the work of the department and to increase their awareness about DOJ careers and job opportunities. So thanks again to both of those high schools for being with us today. The theme for the 2014 National Hispanic Heritage Month is Hispanics, a legacy of history, a precedent of action, and a future of success. This theme captures the rich history of Hispanic Americans and how their culture, heritage, and contributions continue to shape our great nation. It also captures the spirit of all Americans to utilize their individual and collective talents to help create positive change in all aspects of our nation's society. It is this American spirit that allows us to overcome adversity, help those in need, and ensure that the principles of justice and freedom are upheld throughout the United States and across the world. At this time, I would like to formally welcome our distinguished speakers. First, we are very fortunate to have with us the Honorable James M. Cole, Deputy Attorney General of the United States. Thank you for joining us today, sir. Next, please join me in welcoming our keynote speaker, Mr. Armando O. Bonilla, Associate Deputy Attorney General. Welcome, Mr. Bonilla. And finally, welcome Juan A. Arteaga, Acting Chief of Staff and Counsel to the Assistant Attorney General for the Antitrust Division and Vice Chair of the DOJ Association for Hispanic Employee Advancement and Development, better known as DOJ Ahead. Our thanks to all of you for taking time out of your busy schedules to participate in this program. It is now my honor to introduce Deputy Attorney General Cole. In every leadership position that he has held in the Department of Justice, Deputy Attorney General Cole has demonstrated his commitment to the justice mission, its workforce, and our continuing efforts to help ensure equal opportunity for all. As a dedicated public servant, Deputy Attorney General Cole embodies the quality that all public servants should strive to emulate: strong leadership, appreciation for diversity of opinions, strength during times of adversity, and a genuine concern for all. Evidence of his qualities is seen in all aspects of the department's work and the support that he gives for so many workforce programs, including those managed by EEO, Human Resources, and Diversity Management officials. Deputy Attorney General Cole, we are grateful for your support of the Department's Hispanic Heritage Month Observance Program and your outstanding service to the Department of Justice. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the Honorable James M. Cole.
Thank you, Richard, for those very, very kind words, and also for the outstanding work that you and all of your colleagues at the DOJ Equal Employment Opportunity Community and that the Justice Management Division and all across the department have done to put this outstanding event together. And I'd also like to thank the DOJ Association of Hispanics Employees for Advancement and Development and our speaker, Juan Arteaga, for helping to organize today's event and today's celebration. You know, it was wonderful to see the Woodrow Wilson High School Junior ROTC present the colors this morning. And their presentation and the military aspect of it reminds us of the tremendous contributions that Hispanic Americans have made to the defense of this country through their military service. And the Springbrook High School Choir's rendition of the national anthem. I've heard a lot of national anthems in my time. I've heard a lot of them in this room. That's the best one I've ever heard. Let's give another hand of applause for them. And you know, I actually hear that Springbrook High School has a program on justice and law, so I expect some of you to return to this very hallway actually as lawyers and members of our legal team one day, so don't disappoint me on that. Now, as you all know, Hispanic Heritage Month occurs each year from September 15th through October 15th. And during this time, the federal government and communities all across the United States take time to acknowledge the contributions of Hispanic Americans to our nation and to celebrate the group's heritage and culture. As Richard noted, the theme for this year's Hispanic Heritage Month, Hispanics, a Legacy of History, a Present of Action, and a Future of Success, reminds us of all the ways Hispanics have enriched our country and shaped the character of our nation. From those with roots that trace back generations to those who have just begun their pursuit of the American dream, they have come to represent fundamentally who we are as a people. That with hard work, you can build a better life for yourself and a better future for your children. There is no better example of this American spirit than your keynote speaker today, Armando Bonilla. I should know because he works for me. As an Associate Deputy Attorney General, Armando oversees the U.S. Marshal Service. He oversees Interpol's Washington operations. He oversees the United States Parole Commission and the Access to Justice Initiative, just to mention a few. And he oversaw the recent creation of the National Commission on Forensic Science. He also represents the department on a number of interagency task forces, including the President's Task Force on Puerto Rico. As you can imagine, Armando is a very, very busy man. But I'm here to tell you that Armando is not only an excellent lawyer, but more importantly, he embodies everything that the Department of Justice stands for. When he graduated from law school, he didn't go after the hefty salary or the big bucks. Instead, he pursued public service. He joined the Department of Justice through the Attorney General's Honors Program, fresh out of law school, just like the Attorney General and I did. And he served as a trial attorney in the Civil Division, in their Commercial Litigation Branch. He then became a prosecutor in the Criminal Division's Public Integrity Section, again, just like the Attorney General and I did. And perhaps there's a pattern going on here. You know, before long, you may be back here either as the AG or the DAG giving the speech during Hispanic Heritage Month again. We would look forward to that. But during his more than 20 years with the Department of Justice, Armando has received numerous awards. He was awarded the Attorney General's Distinguished Service Award, twice received the Assistant Attorney General's Award for ensuring the integrity of government, and was presented with the Civil Division's Special Commendation Award. These awards illustrate Armando's vast talents as a lawyer. But I can also tell you that on a personal level, there is no one with more integrity or more of an innate sense of justice than Armando. I've come to rely on him for some of the most sensitive and difficult issues that come into the DAG's office, and believe me, there are very sensitive and difficult issues. But I rely on him because I know he will handle them with a great deal of thought, with intelligence, and with wisdom. Because of these qualities, Armando was recently nominated by President Obama to serve as a judge on the United States Court of Federal Claims. While I'm going to hate to lose you, you will be a great addition to that court, and you will continue your service to the country in that important position. So while I still have him with us here today, I want to publicly thank Armando for his exemplary service, and I want to also congratulate him on his latest achievement with this nomination. And I want to ask you all to welcome him this morning as our keynote speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, Armando Bonilla.
Thank you, Jim, for that kind introduction, and more importantly, for your service to this nation, your leadership, and your demonstrated commitment to promoting career opportunities for people of all backgrounds, cultures, and faiths. I will be forever grateful for the opportunities and support you've afforded me over these last 4 years, and I will endeavor to repay your kindness by extending the ladders of opportunity to others whose careers I can impact in the future. To our special guests from Woodrow Wilson and Springbrook High Schools, bienvenido al Departamento de Justicia, and thank you for participating in today's celebration and program. I echo the Deputy Attorney General's compliments, and I look very much forward to seeing your performances after we get these speeches out of the way. I am deeply honored and humbled to have the opportunity to participate in the Department's Hispanic Heritage Month Observance Program, part of our nation's month-long celebration of the rich and diverse histories and cultures of Americans and their families who have come from Spain, Mexico, the Caribbean, and Central and South America, all in search of the American dream. It is a time to honor the many contributions and to celebrate the many achievements of Hispanic Americans, who now make up 17% of our population, that have helped shape the United States into the greatest nation on earth. From financing Columbus's discovery of the New World to space exploration, from putting in an honest day's work as day laborers to running Fortune 500 companies, from excelling in the fields of science, math, medicine, literature, and the law, and making significant contributions to the culinary, music, dance, theatrical, and art worlds. From performing some of the greatest feats in sports to owning and managing sports franchises, in appreciating the importance of family, role models, and education, and parenting, and taking pride in who we are, where we come from, what we do, and how we treat others. In exemplifying a commitment to public service, from all levels of our federal, state, and local governments to the more than 1.2 million servicemen and women and military veterans who have defended and continue to defend the freedoms that we enjoy. Throughout history, Hispanics have made countless contributions to our nation's fabric, and individually and collectively have benefited and enriched the lives of all Americans. Although our histories and our cultures are as diverse as the countries that we and our families come from, my story is like so many of my Hispanic brothers and sisters. My mother was born in Havana, Cuba. When she was in her early 20s, during the revolution, she, her sister, and her mother packed a suitcase each and left for the United States, leaving everything else and everyone else behind, including my tío Mario, who was then in the Cuban military, and began their new life in New York City. The land was foreign, and so was the language, but like so many immigrants from around the world, they had faith that the future they were running toward was going to be better than the future that they were running from. Tío Mario would eventually join them in the United States and settle down in Florida, in Miami, and raise a family. But he would later disappear trying to help other Cuban exiles. Shortly after he was declared dead, 7 years after his disappearance, my grandmother died of a broken heart. My father was a first-generation Cuban American, born and raised in Tampa, Florida. Raised by a single mother, my father, one of 7 children, quit high school and joined the Marines to help support his family and to give back to the country that had welcomed his parents. He then spent his entire adult life working 2 and 3 jobs to make sure that my and my sister's dreams and ambitions were not limited. He never complained, and he could not have been happier or more joyful with whatever success my sister or I achieved. Like so many other Hispanic Americans, my dad's life's dreams were simple, that my sister and I enjoy our life and succeed in whatever pursuit we wanted to. The day I was formally sworn into the bar, my dad, who was 5'6" on a good day, walked around as if he were 7 feet tall. He exemplified the most outstanding qualities of the Hispanic culture and the Hispanic people: the selfless sacrifice, the steely resolve, and the unbridled optimism, and the genuine pride in an honest day's work, all toward the goal of improving the lives of the next generation. As a kid, I did not appreciate it. As an adult and a parent, I am in awe of it. I often wonder whether I'm capable of it. It is amazing to me that my parents came from nothing and gave my sister and me everything. About a year after I was born, my family moved from the projects in New York to a small town down the Jersey Shore. Growing up, my family of 4 was the Hispanic community in my town. Like so many in my generation, my mother and my father only spoke to me in Spanish, and I answered only in English. A rebellion my mother said I would and I do regret. And as my mother likes to tease me till today, in her loving "I told you so" way, your Spanish is getting better, pero todavía hablas como si tuviera una papa en la boca. You still speak like you have a potato stuffed in your mouth. Unlike me, my sister Barbara, who is with us today, embraced the Spanish language. She was the first in our family to graduate from college, proving to me my parents always spoke of when and never if we would go to college, and then went on to earn her master's in education. She has spent the last 30-plus years teaching Spanish to middle and high school students in New York and New Jersey, and she even starred in a local Spanish television show for toddlers. She's a ball of fire in the classroom whose lesson plans not only focus on the language skills, but on the rich cultural and heritage traditions of the influences of the Spanish-speaking countries around the world. My decision to pursue a career in the law was not inspired by a relative or a close family friend that went on that career path ahead of me. After all, even today, only 4% of this nation's 1.2 million practicing lawyers are Hispanic, a statistic matched within the Department of Justice. Just over 400 of the department's 11,000 lawyers across the nation are Hispanic, including 6 of the 93 U.S. attorneys. Instead, I chose to go to law school because I spent years as a kid cleaning law firm offices with my parents. It was something that I was very embarrassed about growing up, but something I wear with a badge of honor today. In pushing me to pursue a career instead of a job, my parents used every opportunity to remind me of the importance of higher education. My dad would often say, education is one of the few things in life that once you earn, no one can take away from you. My mother would add, when, never if, you become a lawyer, keep your desk clean, because the mess of papers and files will never inspire confidence in anyone in your abilities. She used much more colorful language than that in describing her views and the papers, but that is why, till today, when I leave my office every night, there's not a scrap of paper on my desk. When I started law school, most of my classmates assumed that I was there on an affirmative action program, and so did I. And it bothered me, because it gave me doubt that I would succeed, let alone graduate. And I went to the dean with my concerns, and he offered the following advice. It's not how you got in, it's what you do while you're here. And for some reason, that added pressure made me double down that I was going to succeed and I was going to graduate, because I wanted to make sure that the school didn't regret its decision to admit me, whatever its reason. Call it Cuban pride, but I did not want to suffer that humiliation, nor did I want to be the reason or excuse that the ladder of opportunity was taken away from future applicants. In handing me my diploma at graduation 3 years later, Dean Riccio whispered to me, "I guess you made the most of it." I was reminded of his advice when I was accepted into the honors program here at Justice. Having served on the committee the last 5 years, I have absolutely no idea how or why the stars aligned that made me an honors program attorney. But I've spent the last 2 decades earning that opportunity that I was given, and I've loved every minute of it. 20 years ago last week, I walked into this building for the first time. It was my first day as a Department of Justice employee, and I was very excited, and I was 2 hours early. So I walked around, and the first thing that caught my eye was the fountain in the courtyard, a sight and a sound I never tire of. And the second was this great hall, which stopped me in my tracks. I stood in awe in this room and let it sink in that I was joining the greatest and the largest law firm in the world, whose mission was to serve and protect the American people. The Department of Justice is truly an extraordinary place to work, to learn, and to practice our craft. Although the cases we handle and the issues we face are often complex and difficult, our mission and our responsibility are simple. Find out what really happened, research the governing law, and act accordingly. As any attorney will tell you who worked for the department, there is nothing more powerful or more meaningful than standing up in court and announcing that you represent the United States. I've spent the better part of my career litigating civil and criminal cases across our nation. Each time I make my appearance, I stand a little taller and take a moment to remind myself that it's not the court's ruling or the jury's verdict that matters most. It is the process. One that is fair, one that is just, and one that is in accordance with the law. The American people expect and deserve no less. Throughout my career at Justice, I've had the privilege of working with extraordinary people who have been very kind, generous with their time, their teaching, their advice, and their friendship. I have learned so much from so many and been treated with respect by all. I only hope that I have returned the kindness bestowed upon me and shared it with others along the way. During my career at Justice, I've witnessed a number of firsts for the Latino community. The first Hispanic Attorney General, the first Latina on the Supreme Court, and then I got my own first. Just before President Obama nominated me to serve as a judge on the Court of Federal Claims this past summer, I was told that, if confirmed, I would be the first Hispanic to serve on that bench. My initial reaction was one of pride, another barrier overcome for my people. And that night and the days that followed, as I continued to process that information, because as a type A, you can't just accept that moment and appreciate it, I thought back that the court dates back to 1855. And then I looked up the 101 jurists that have served on that court, dating back to the Franklin Pierce administration. That's our 14th president. Sure enough, not a Latino or a Latina among them. And as exciting as it is to be the first Hispanic to achieve something, my wish for future generations, including my own children, who are here today, happily missing school, is that we replace the word first with the phrase yet another. Or better yet, when the accomplishments of a member of our community is a proud and celebrated milestone for that person and that person's family, rather than an entire people. If I might, I offer the following advice to our guests from Woodrow Wilson and Springbrook High Schools. Don't bid against yourself. Throughout your life, you will encounter many opportunities that will interest, excite, and intrigue you. Colleges to apply for, jobs to strive for, careers and opportunities to pursue. And there will be plenty of people around you telling you no. They will tell you to set more realistic goals, more achievable goals. Dumb down your expectations. You should not be one of those people. You should not hold yourself back. You should not stand in your own way. It may not work out, and if it doesn't, you are no worse off. But when you sit down to think whether it's something you should apply for, or try for, or pursue, take one moment to think, what if it does work out? And let that moment and that thought guide your decision. Because those are the dreams worth pursuing. The moments that can prove life-altering for you and future generations. Whatever my future holds, I will take with me from my tenure at the department a lifetime of extraordinary experiences, amazing memories, and unbelievable friendships. Bookended by standing in the greatest of halls, taking a moment to realize how lucky I am, how much I have to be grateful for, and how many people here at the department have touched my life. Thank you for coming, and thank you for inviting me to participate in this program.
In my remarks, I was going to say, please join me in another round of applause for Mr. Bonilla, so I will still do that. Thank you, Mr. Bonilla, for your very touching and inspiring remarks. There's certainly much to be learned from his life, his passion for the law, and of course, his commitment to this department. So thank you very much. And at this time, I would ask that Deputy Attorney General Cole and Mr. Bonilla please come forward to the center stage. To express the department's gratitude for his participation in the program and his inspiring remarks, Deputy Attorney General Cole will now present Mr. Bonilla with a small token of appreciation. We'll continue with our program with a dance and a musical selection from the talented students from Springbrook High School. First, we have Eliot Lopez Martinez, Maria Martinez Galicia, Jeremias Avelas Cortez, and Karen Gomez Diaz, who will dance a well-known cumbia song from Colombia called La Cumbia Sampuesana. Cumbia music and dance are two of the most melodic expressions of Colombia and bring together three cultures, African, indigenous, and European. Cumbia songs are often considered contradictory and that they will, quote, spin you into jubilation with their infectious rhythm and melodies, forcing you to dance and smile, but they also pin you by the heart with themes of lost and thwarted love, nostalgia, and difficult times. Ladies and gentlemen, La Cumbia Sampuesana. Very nice, and thank you once again to Elioth, Maria, Jeremias, and Karen. Thank you very much. Next, we will have a guitar solo by Andrea Garcia, who will play the song La Malagueña. It's great to see such talent from our local high school students. I'd ask all of you all to please stand and take a bow so we can acknowledge all of your wonderful talent. Before we conclude the program, I would like to briefly acknowledge, of course, all of our DOJ component EO offices for their efforts to acknowledge Hispanic Heritage Month this year. I would also like to acknowledge, take a moment of privilege here, to acknowledge Charles Cephas, who is standing in the back. Charles Cephas is the JMD EO Staff Director, who after 34 years of federal service, including 26 years of service with the Department of Justice, will retire at the end of this month. So Charles, thank you very much for all your contributions. At this time, I would like to welcome to the podium Juan Arteaga, Vice Chair of the DOJ Association for Hispanic Employee Advancement and Development, who will conclude today's program.
Gracias, Richard, y buenos dias. It is a privilege and honor to be part of this program in which the department is celebrating the past and future contributions of the Latino community to our great nation. It is also a privilege and honor to be sharing the stage with Deputy Attorney General Cole and Mr. Bonilla. Armando, I just want to thank you on behalf of all of us, but especially our special guest from Woodrow Wilson High School and Springbrook High School for sharing the remarkable and inspirational story of yourself and your family. It is one that I, and I'm sure many of us here today, can fully relate to. So thank you for sharing that with us. Like Richard, I would like to thank you, Deputy Attorney General Cole, for strongly supporting and playing a leading role in the department's diversity initiatives. Without your leadership and support, many of the progress that the department has made on the diversity front would not have been possible. So thank you for all that you have done. I would like to thank our dedicated JMD EEO staff, especially Isabel Flores Kaufman, for their hard work in putting together today's wonderful event. They have asked me to remind you to complete the evaluation form that was included in your program. You can leave the completed form on your chairs or hand it to a JMD staff member at the exit on your way out at the conclusion of today's program. I also would like to thank my boss, Bill Baer, the Associate Attorney General for the Antitrust Division, for strongly supporting the department's diversity initiatives and for always encouraging my active involvement in them. Last but certainly not least, I want to thank our special guests from Woodrow Wilson High School and Springbrook High School for those phenomenal performances. All of you are proof that this great nation's brightest days are yet to come. So everyone, please indulge me in giving our special guests another round of applause. As Richard mentioned, I am the Vice Chair of the DOJ Association for Latino Employees, known as DOJ Ahead. DOJ Ahead is a voluntary organization that helps raise awareness about the important contributions and special concerns of the department's nearly 10,000 Latino employees and partners. On behalf of the members of DOJ Ahead, I am going to focus my brief remarks today on thanking Attorney General Holder for his unwavering support and phenomenal leadership with respect to the department's diversity initiatives. Attorney General Holder has said many times that, quote, "Our nation's Justice Department will always be stronger, more credible, and more effective when its workforce reflects our nation's rich diversity, and when our work environment both enables and encourages all of our employees to develop and to thrive personally as well as professionally," close quote. More importantly than saying these words, Attorney General Holder has worked tirelessly over the past 6 years to create an inclusive and welcoming environment here at DOJ. Under his leadership, the department has sponsored its first ever diversity symposium for key department leaders and managers. It has created the senior level position of Deputy Associate Attorney General for Diversity Management. It has launched a comprehensive diversity management initiative and has invested significant time and resources in an ambassador program aimed at recruiting and retaining the best qualified employees of all backgrounds. And these are just a few of the many diversity-related accomplishments that have been made possible by Attorney General Holder's leadership and vision. Making these accomplishments all the more remarkable is the fact that they were accomplished during a time of severe budgetary constraints and hiring freezes, which proves that with the right leadership and commitment, we can move forward on the diversity front, irrespective of the challenges that we may face. During a press conference with President Obama, where his resignation was announced, Attorney General Holder spoke about the pride and admiration that he felt when, as a young boy, he watched Robert Kennedy prove during the Civil Rights Movement how the department can and always must be a force for that which is right. I feel very comfortable in saying that for those of us here today and many Americans, Attorney General Holder has been our Bobby Kennedy, because under his leadership, the department has always been a force for that which is right. His work, both within and outside the department, has made us feel the same pride and admiration that he felt when, as a young boy, he watched Bobby Kennedy lead the department during the Civil Rights Movement. So on behalf of DOJ Ahead and the rest of the DOJ family, I want to thank Attorney General Holder for helping to create a work environment here at the department that has made all of us feel welcomed and appreciated, and has given us an opportunity to succeed both professionally and personally. I thank all of you for taking the time out of your schedules to join us here today, and I sincerely hope that you enjoyed today's program. Thank you.